woman helped her. The scene in the tub when the woman is sick and dying, and the so-called ugly woman is nursing her back to health, and the ugly woman, so-called, is talking about a relationship with her father, and this so-called pretty woman in the tub is thinking about a relationship that she has with her father. Even her father and the relationship that he has with this song stylist is very unhealthy, because even when that man becomes a preacher for God, he is so insensitive to human need. He's so imbalanced in his representation of God. He's so callous and hard in the name of God and his righteousness that he doesn't understand what he's doing to a daughter who needs his love and his affection. Yes, she has made mistakes. Yes, she has fallen into bed with men, but as Jesus was compassionate, his understanding of Jesus was so limited, he could not give his daughter what his daughter needed. So here again, the man was a beast, but now he's a beast with a collar on. Even God in his understanding of religion can't help him out of the condition that he's in. Even his understanding or his misunderstanding of religion does not allow him to feed the yearning in his daughter's breast for a meaningful relationship with her own father. He is more concerned about how she makes him look in the eyes of the congregation than how she looks in the eyes of God. The color purple. She's crying because she wants a decent relationship with her father and she can't have it. And the other woman, Whoopi, is crying because she had an indecent relationship with her father and she couldn't care less to be near him. So the two meet. And a man that neither one of them really think too much of is using the woman of beauty and therefore misusing her, and using the woman of ugliness and therefore misusing her. So the righteous man in the church becomes a religious dog, while the playboy man, he's a manifest dog. And his father, the old man, comes in and he's another old dog that is trying to teach his son, a young dog, a new trick or two. The color purple. The color purple. But meanwhile, a domineering father produces a son that is a wimp. Another man, now he's totally out of the box. And he's so out of the box, he marries a mother figure in Oprah. And Oprah is so strong and magnificent in her strength till she just overpowers the man that she marries. So the image that we get here is the strong woman coming through all the time. The woman that is abused, the woman that is misused, the woman that is the strength and the cornerstone of everything. Everybody dumps on the woman, and finally we get a strong woman and she gets a man that is so weak that she ends up fighting white people while he stands on the sideline trembling. She said, "Take my children home." He becomes mama. While she stands and battles the police, she tells him, "Take my babies home." So the women in the audience, they identify with that strong, whoop that man. Whoop it up. Whoop it to him. Yeah, you sick, sorry sorry, nigga, take the children home. And you sitting in your chair angry as hell that that man ain't a man. And then you say, just like my husband. No good so-and-so wouldn't stand up for me either. Poor black man sitting in there, he going further and further down his chair, man. Lord, when am I going to be rescued in this picture? When they finally let Oprah out of jail, she's ugly, beat up, broke. Then she end up driving for the white woman. Only time the men in the movie show any kind of spark is when the white woman get in trouble with her car. Then they all can help her. Yeah. Only time they show any manhood is in trying to save this white woman because they don't want her to crash, because if she crashed, they will swear that the niggas killed her.
They was ready for their own speech.
The color purple. I know I'm skipping over a lot of pertinent points, but the subliminal message to the woman is, I don't care how strong you are, don't you ever think that you can rise up against the white man. Because I broke Winfrey, whatever her name was in the movie. I broke her and I'll break you too. That's the subtle message. Your man ain't nothing, he ain't gonna defend you. And if you rise up against me, I'll break you too. So if you don't rise, I won't fall. Color purple. Sister goes off to Africa. She starts writing beautiful things about Africa. She went to Africa and she saw black people doing things a little differently, and it was kind of producing an awakening in her. And this man is so wicked. He's hiding all the letters that she writes to her poor sister. Yeah. See, the sister love comes through strong. That's right. See? Ain't no brother love in that thing.
No brother.
Well, I'm going to make this brief. In the end, finally, she gets strength. Everybody in the theater is happy. She finally gets the strength to rebel against this no-good man. He said, come on here, woman, and shave me. And everybody in the movie is with her when she picks up the rake. And everybody in the movie is saying, cut the son of a so-and-so. Cut it, cut it. And you can see her making up her mind to kill him now. And everybody in the audience is with her. Kill him. Even the brothers in the audience say, yeah, that nigga ain't right. Kill him. Kill him. No good nigga. But you don't see the white man have made him like that. You don't see that the social circumstances have destroyed your man and destroyed you. And now you about to destroy your man. And here the razor. He's acting the fool. And he's really calling for his demise. And this other one is running. You see her running to try and get there to stop this girl from killing this man. And some in the audience is saying, Lord, stop her. And some saying, I hope you fall. That nigga need to be killed. And she gets there just in time to save that girl. Finally, in the end, she gets courage and she stands up against him very strongly. She got strength. And her strength begins to put more strength back in Oprah. And everybody's enjoying it because she's finally getting the upper hand over this man. Finally, she walks out on him. And he goes right on down to nothing, the way he was when she met him. Dirt and filth and garbage. But the subtlety is, in that state, something happens to him. And he wants to try to make amends. It's a subtle point. It's there, but he did so much evil till you don't even notice the good that he's trying to do. So he takes the money that he saved and he makes it possible for the sister and her children to come back to make the reunion. So in the end, you see this reunion between the two sisters, and you see his image in the field. But he's faded in the background now. He's doing good, but his good is too little, too late. But he's trying now, but don't nobody have no sympathy for him.
That's right.
Finally, in the end, you know, the girl that was rejected by her father, she gets religion. And she comes home singing. There's some subtleties in it that are good. The acting was superb. Many of you go there and you identify with the suffering and you weep. You feel good when the sister gets strength because she represents the underdog, and you feel proud of her, you know. And when you go out of the movie, you go out, that was nice, wasn't it?
Right.
And that was really nice. Boy, that Whoopi sure played it. Wasn't Oprah great? But whoever the man was, you don't even remember that man. And out of that picture, two persons emerge. Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey. And if anyone else emerges, it's another woman. No man emerges as anything of value in that picture. Either acting-wise or human-wise. Is that right? Let me conclude by saying that when you look at this movie, the innocence of it is just a movie. Surely there is no diabolical plot in a movie. I mean, it was written by a black person. The screenplay was done by a white person. It was directed by this marvelous director, Spielberg. And look, what's that great musician's name? Quincy had a part in it. It must be all right. But beloved, today, our people's hunger to be seen, to be famous, to have money, is like a trap. Because the Jews that control Hollywood recognize that your rise is the fall of their world. When you write meaningful scripts that show your people in a good way, you very seldom find a producer to produce that kind of script. And so the movies that have you in it, White Nights, and there's a couple more, they show you in a way that if you understand that this is the time of your rise and their fall, then your rise and your fall is always in these motion pictures. And until we make the movies with a resurrected mind, we will always play into the hands of the powers of the world whose spinning power keeps us bound to their way of life. So there'll always be a prince. There will always be, what's that performer like Prince that, not Michael. I'm sorry, brothers, you haven't called his name, but he used to come out with a diaper on.
Bootsy, George Clinton.
But what's his stage name? Rick James. Rick James. Bootsy come out in the diapers? Well, Rick James did some crazy way out things too. My point is, even though all these artists, you like them. No. You don't dislike them. You like them. I love the brothers and sisters myself, but I don't love what they're into. You understand? Now they are in the gravitational pull of the world. So as they try to write a lyric that may speak to getting out of the world, somebody said, well, that's not going to sell too well. Why don't you take this lyric here? And they come up with something more filthy than the last person's song. Let's do it again. Or let's do it all night and all through the day. I'm not trying to be smart, but that's the kind of mess that our children are hearing all day, all night. You turn on your radio. I listen to the white disc jockeys now that have moved out the black ones. Yes, go ahead. And the conversation that they have is so stupid and filthy. It is such a gross misuse of the airwaves, destroying the minds of their young and ours. Why? Everything must be done to hinder your what? Rise. And if we can hinder your rise, we will not fall. White folks talk. So your music is degraded. Your styles are degraded. Oh, yeah. Your whole mindset is bent on your destruction. So we live the color purple. It's very, very sad. And when a brother like Michael Jackson comes along, whose talent is so exquisite that this young man and his skill can be put before the world as a symbol, but without no real man to balance him. See, at least in the white world, if there's a Boy George, there's a George Bush. If there's a Reagan that's a dancer and his wrist is broken, there's a Ronald, you see, to balance that. But when you look at yourself, when they put our artists before the world who are somewhat effeminate, I'm not saying they're homosexuals, I'm saying they're effeminate. They don't give a woman a strong image of a man. In fact, you now are so sick mentally, sisters. I'm not trying to hurt the sisters' feelings, but the sisters are so sick mentally, you fall in love with your own image. And you are the ones that's supporting Prince, when it would seem to me that if I was a woman and I wanted a man, what the hell would I be doing supporting something that's trying to look as feminine as me? And so Prince comes out in the color purple. With his hair prettier than yours. His legs prettier than yours. And he trying to show you, I can compete with you, and you eating it up because you falling in love with your own self. You don't want a man, you want a woman. And that's why you pay these freaks and keep them happy. Stevie walk around with braids and whatnot. You don't care. You don't want a man to look like a man anymore. You want yourself. And that's why lesbianism is going crazy, and you men are turning into faggots in the eyes of the world, man. Smelling sweet, walking sweet, talking sweet with your ruffled clothes, and you such a big freak. You go and pay to see a freak perform. A man that's acting like a woman stepping across the stage, and you say, "Go on, baby." Men coming out in frilly things with their guitar jumping all over the stage like monkeys. And you sitting down there hollering, "Get on, baby." Wow. It's the color purple. It's sickness. But in all of that, there is the germ of divine. Because the scripture is not to be mocked. God is not mocked. You are to be raised from the dead. And all of this is death for you. But it's true, brother and sister. I looked at the celebration for Dr. King the other night. It makes you throw up. He's a serious man. Every time he opens his mouth, he's talking serious. Whether you agree with his serious talk or not, King was serious. We're celebrating the holiday of a black man who died for our cause. And everybody that's singing, they have nothing to do with his cause. Right. It's a chance to be on national TV. I can't understand Stevie, why he would say, "I just called to say I love you." Here Dr. King is dead. Why can't your songs inspire the movement to continue? Why can't your dance inspire the movement to continue? I don't want to hear what you sang that don't have no damn meaning for liberation.
Go ahead.
But we just want to be entertained, and Dr. King was an excuse for a night of entertainment. Harry Belafonte, serious as cancer. And that man suffered because he was serious. Right. And you see him there with the Boys Choir of Harlem talking about Dr. King. He could have sung Matilda. He could have got away with some of his songs, but he came with something for the doctor. Something meaningful. Mrs. King didn't want a lot of frivolity, but her wishes were not respected. See, if you call him your prince, and he's a prince of peace, there's a certain way you celebrate for righteous people. You don't get funky and crazy when you celebrate the birth of a righteous man, a man that you recognize as having saintly qualities. Why should you celebrate his worthy life with unsaintly behavior? the color purple. But yet in that purple, it is a symbol of royalty. And the scripture says you are a peculiar nation, a holy nation, a royal priesthood. God is going to make you priests of the Most High. Even though you're messed up, yet you're regal. Even though you're destroyed, yet you are absolutely a regal people. And the resurrection is to bring you back to that state that you once were in before your fall. So, beloved, there's an anecdote to this. And there's an antidote to the poison. Islam comes after everything else fails. And if everything else has failed to make a man out of us, here comes Islam. Islam comes to affect our lives. What is Islam? It is entire submission to the will of God. It comes to make a man, from the dust and drape him in royal purple robes.
Hallelujah.
You understand? God made a man in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And no matter what the forces of this world did against that man stood, and that man was a maintainer of women. They charged him with evil against women. But if you look at the women that he produced and the women he taught and what he made of those women, as evidence in his wife Tainetta Muhammad, you would see that an unrighteous man cannot make and maintain a righteous woman. He's been gone for 10 years, yet from wherever he is, she's maintained. Yes, sir. That's a powerful man. Right. And he's made a powerful woman. This incestuous thing has to be taken out of the heart of the black man. The only way you can stop that kind of madness in him is you must give him another reason for his sexuality. You must give him an understanding of why God created sex. And you must help him to understand that the drive for sex is like the hunger for food. But if you overeat, you get obese, you have stroke, heart attack, high blood pressure, and you die young. And if you overindulge in sex, it produces the same thing. Particularly if there is no commitment to a woman and you take no commitment from a man, you just indulge yourself, then you destroy the value of that very sacred act that God himself has given to us as a means of pleasure, but as a means of the procreation of the human species. Nature out of control is destructive. Witness tornadoes, witness the volcanoes, witness the earthquakes. This is nature out of control. When you have a nature that you will not try to control, then that nature out of control is destructive and it ends up destroying your life. How many men and women have destroyed their brilliant futures through their promiscuity? And now promiscuity is leading to herpes and simplex 2 and AIDS and all kinds of corrupting diseases. So people now are afraid to have sex with strangers because they really don't know what they're getting into. So God has to frighten you to keep yourself zipped up. Frighten you to keep your clothes on. No, I ain't messing with that. Don't kiss me. Got a little sore in the corner of your mouth. I don't know what the hell that is. God is frightening you back into a sense of morality. God is trying to make a man. I thank him for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I thank Allah for that example that he gave us in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that if we key off of that man, we can become men. I wanted to be a man. I wanted to be strong when I was just a young boy. I didn't have a father. I didn't know my father. But I had a strong mother who played both father and mother. I wasn't satisfied with her playing both roles. I would have been happier to have a father. But she was strong enough to be both of them. But when I met the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I met the father that I always wanted. When I met Malcolm X, I met the father that I always wanted. He was a strong man. He was a disciplined man. He was a man that knew where he was going and would lead others to a goal. So when I met a man like that, I latched on to that kind of man, and in latching on to that kind of man, I started becoming a man. And when you start becoming a man, you start putting away foolish things, childish things. Paul said, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, because I thought as a child and I understood as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. I don't need alcohol now. Drinking is a part of childish behavior for me, because I don't have a need to get drunk. I don't have a need to drink. Smoking I used to do, just to have a feel of a cigarette in my hand, I don't know why I needed the cigarette in my hand. I just had to have a cigarette, But when I recognized, hey, look at what you're doing. You're making yourself a slave to nicotine. And this little old 3-inch brown tobacco with a white wrapping had me hooked. I can't be a man hooked on a 3-inch cigarette. I can only be a man if I put everything under me that God told me to subdue. And he told me to subdue the earth. He said he gave us, man, woman, power to rule over this thing. Why should we sit around and let the earth rule us? This body came from the earth. It was made to be ruled by you. You don't let the penis rule you. You don't let the vagina rule you. You rule it. But too bad, you become the color purple. You are ruled by desires. You are ruled by your organs instead of you ruling it. It rules you. We must become men and women with absolute say-so over us. Well, she seduced me. Oh, shut up. Can't no woman seduce you, brother. You seduce yourself. And no woman make you do what you don't want to do. But she forced me. Yes, she did. She started taking off her clothes. She forced me. Well, why did you stay there? Well, I just wanted to see how far she was going. And she got so far, I couldn't get going. The only color purple I want to see us in is the robes. The royal robes of our divinity. And the only way we can restore that is to submit to God and allow him to govern our lives. In my conclusion, Islam, if you're in our submission to the will of God, whether you call yourself a Christian or what, if you submit to God and let him govern your life and take the example of Jesus, take the example of Muhammad, take the example of these worthies of God and follow in their footsteps, I guarantee you we will gain control of all the negative influences in our life. Incest will fade because there's a natural way to express those kinds of feelings rather than destroying the lives of our young girls. You agree? Yes. And God made man from the dust of the ground. And once man is made, Satan got to try him to see whether he's worthy to rise. And when man submitted to Satan rather than God, man fell into incest. Right? And when he fell as a father, he lost the respect of his child. He became a subject of sex. And sex in Latin means six. And when he fell to sex, he fell under the number of the six and became a beast. You understand? Yeah. So as long as you're in this condition, you can't rise, therefore he, the wicked, do not fall. And that's why, brothers and sisters, as I stand up today to deliver the message of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, a freeing message, a message that makes black men and women see the time, understand the time, and try to be in accord with God's plan for the time, I become a very dangerous man. So they beat on me, see? To do what? To break me.
Go ahead.
If they break me, then I fall. Then we can't rise. Therefore, they won't fall. See? So I must stand. I must stand.
Go ahead. Yes, sir, brother.
I must stand. I do not care, brother and sister, what they bring against me. I must stand up. For your sake, I must stand. Not just for my sake, but for your sake, I would rather die than buckle. If I have to choose between dying and buckling, I'll die a man that history may reward me for my stand. But I must stand so that you will stand. I must fight against all evil influences within myself so that my sisters can see, wait a minute, good men do exist. The color purple was something that was, but is not necessarily what is, because something new has come on the scene to change the reality of the social conditions that produce a black man as a beast. God is in the scene today. I must stand for your sake, sister. I must not yield to temptation for your sake. You must see that there's a man on the scene that loves you purely, and does not want anything from you but for you to become the woman of God as you once were in the beginning. Nothing else do I want from you. Nothing else. We must show them that. As ministers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we cannot be whoremongers. We cannot be men who lust to jump on women, because if we do that, we are only accentuating the color purple and making women see all men are dogs. But all men are not dogs. There are some dogs that have become men. We must destroy the color purple and then make it into royal robes. It can be done. Brothers, never misuse your woman. The greatest gift that God gives to a man, other than wisdom, is a woman. And to abuse your woman, to misuse her, is a sin of the highest order. And we have sinned against heaven by mistreating our women. We must stop it, brothers. We must stop it. You can't just say that the movie's a lie. The movie's not a lie. That's the condition that the black man has been put in by white people and their institutions and their society. You are no different than that beast that we saw in the form of a human being who mistreats his woman. Most of us are like that. We don't care for our women. They give us babies. They work for us. They clean our clothes. They tend us. They cook for us. And we reward them for this by walking out on them, leaving them, beating them. That ain't no unreal movie. Many men are taking their young daughters off, their nieces off. Many men are doing these things. We got to stop it, brothers. We got to stop it. We got to recognize that the penalty for these kinds of things has to be death. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he would not rest until the Quran became the law under which all the black people live. And in this book, the penalty for that is death, man. You don't rape a woman. The penalty is death. This kind of thing must come to pass. We must kill the rapist. We must kill the destroyer of our women and our children. That kind of person does not deserve to live. Sorry about your tenderness, black woman, but you have to make examples. You cannot reason with a beast. You have to kill the beast and make an example out of that beast for all the others who have a beast-like mentality. You say, but that's not Jesus' teaching. That is Jesus' teaching. Go ahead. When he come back, he don't come back to play. Though he told Peter, put away your sword. When they see him coming in the end, they see him coming at the head of 10,000 with a sword in his hand, and his sword is dripping with blood. Is that right? He comes to conquer, to vanquish the enemy. So I don't follow no punk Jesus. I don't follow no milquetoast dude. And all he knows how to do is say, Father, forgive them. These people don't know what they're doing. Maybe at one time you didn't know, but after you know, Jack, your behind is responsible, and therefore we will deal with you. You understand that, don't you? Huh? There must be a penalty for selling drugs to babies or to our people, brother. And the penalty has to be death. Not prison, but death. Because you're dealing death to your people, then you should be killed. You reap what you sow. You sow in death, so you should reap what you sow, man. That day is coming. We must make a man. And I ain't talking about just a man. We must make a righteous man.
Right.